Hello and welcome back to Oxygen Not Include. Let's play episode 140. So in our previous few episodes, we finished up a few sort of small minor projects. Number one was this pinch peppernut farm. Number two was this set of Dreco ranches, which will supply the pinch peppernut farm with a bunch of phosphorite. And number three was a simple bristleberry farm. And the reason we went about these things was that we saw over the past, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 episodes, our number of calories fall from about 600,000 to 300,000. And I wanted to, ultimately make a transition to pepper bread, which is sort of the ultimate luxury food for your in-game dupes. But I want to make a transition before that to stuffed berries, because stuffed berries are kind of, if we're being honest with ourselves, probably the best in-game food that exists. There are two foods that have a higher morale bonus over stuffed berries. Those are pepper bread, of course, and then barbecue. Barbecue is the major downside that it requires a lot of ranching. A lot of ranching means a lot of critters. A lot of critters means sort of a tax on your CPU. That's not really what you want to be doing in the late game, even though it is really easy to set up and maintain. And pepper bread requires dirt, and dirt is something that's kind of tricky to get your hands on in large quantities as a renewable resource in the late game, because it requires usually sieving up a lot of water, turning polluted water into water, and then hopefully that water back into polluted water so you can turn it back again, and then taking the polluted dirt that you get from your water sieves and composting it into regular dirt for your farms in some cold area. So we switched to stuffed berries, which really just only require water and light and some reasonable temperature. And then pepper bread, peppernut, to turn the bristleberries into stuffed berries, which again is pretty simple. It's just polluted water plus sort of the right temperature, and a little bit of phosphorite, which you can get from a Dreco ranch. So that's, a great in-game food option, and probably what's going to sustain us for the next, few hundred cycles until we ultimately bring our other food production online. But yeah, just sort of, that's sort of where we're going. Ultimately, we want to build pepper bread. But we made a little pit stop here at stuffed berries to get that done. Let's go ahead and finish up this stuff. We have basically our last airlock done. We're pumping chlorine into our ranches. I'm going to go around kind of looking for Drecos while I discuss the next things that I want to do with the base. So number one of the things that I want to do with the base is that I want to try and retrofit our existing rocket tube. We ended up building, sort of as an experiment, an indoors rocket bay, and that's not something that is usually done. Usually in my own playthroughs and in most of the playthroughs that I've watched on YouTube, people tend to build their rockets exposed to space, and then they don't have to deal with any of the exhaust because they can just let it vent out into space, and they don't have to worry about the heat management, and they lose some resources that way, but it's pretty simple. So I wanted to try, or sort of a challenge of going ahead and building a rocket silo indoors, and I think that the experiment was a huge success, and actually it's changed my mind on what I consider to be sort of the optimal way to go about at least your steam rockets, because if I go back up here to our setup right now, this setup is really simple. We build an insulated tube with some bunker doors at the top, right? Gantries, whatever we want our rocket to be, a little station here and a little platform here. And then we fill it with a sort of thermal ballast. In this case, I'm just using a ton of hot regolith. And if we pump in water, right, we have a little water line going here. If we pump in water, we just get steam. We can then take a pump and just pump that straight into the rocket. And we don't need anything else. I have a whole liquid oxygen set up here for ultimately when we convert this to petroleum rocketry. I have a steam storage area, which we kind of misbuilt because we ended up using the wrong materials. This should not be iron. It should be steel like the other things, etc. But you only need basically an insulated tube, some access points to there, right? This gantry up top, an airlock down here, a water going in, a bunch of hot regolith, and a pump, and then you're just going to recirculate all the steam that you get from your rocket back into the rocket to launch it again. This is a really dead easy setup to go to space. And so it's, I think, my go-to build from here on out. But I'm kind of curious how we would retrofit this build to work with a petroleum rocket, because a petroleum rocket is going to have some different things going on. For one, the temperatures are just going to be a lot hotter. I believe that the temperatures that come out of our steam rocket are something in the area of 200 to 250. It's basically just generating steam for each second that it's there. It's producing steam in sort of an area about this big beneath the steam engine. And we don't really need our thermal ballast in a huge way to help contain that heat, right? It's nice to have. It prevents things from peaking too high. But if we didn't have the thermal ballast, if we didn't have the regolith sitting there, we'd still probably be fine, right? Petroleum rockets are going to be a bit of a different story, because petroleum rockets, if I remember right, their exhaust comes out at 2200 degrees Celsius. So much, much more extreme than what we saw in the past. And so the thermal ballast becomes very necessary. And also, we don't have this opportunity like we did here to basically just take the output of that rocket and just pump it back into the rocket, right? Our recapture method for that CO2 is going to be very different. And so I think one of the things we're going to have to work on is basically a cooling solution for this rocket tube. That's going to be, we have basically no cooling solution in here right now. We're going to need a big cooling solution. So I want to work on, now that I feel like I've wrangled up enough of these guys, or at least I can't seem to find any more. I want to talk a little bit about how we would go about retrofitting this sort of setup. Well, if we only had this tube, things might be a little bit of a different story. We'd have a little bit more flexibility in terms of how we went about things. Here, I'm actually, since we already built this facility, it turned out to be kind of unnecessary, but since we already built this facility, I'm tempted to just cannibalize this for our new petroleum rocket. So let me go ahead and assign Stinky into here. We do not have the steam in here because of this CO2. That's fine, but we're basically going to do a couple things here. And number one is that I am going to deconstruct this door, and I am going to deconstruct this gas pump. I think just replace it with I'm going to replace it with just a regular pump, and we're going to pump out any water that we get in the system here. That's part of what's going to go on. But basically what we're going to do to retrofit this thing is we're going to crack in through here, or here, either way, and we're going to crack in through here. And we're going to take this area right now, which has an input of water, and it's heating it up to a certain temperature before it's pumped out, all right, as steam. We're going to take this system and we're going to instead replace it with an oil heating system. So we're going to pump oil into here, and we're going to heat it up to a certain temperature, use that to cool off our liquid oxygen. And we're going to do a similar thing with petroleum. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm going to reverse it. We're going to have our oil heating down here, and we're going to have our petroleum heating up here. And basically, the petroleum heating is just so we can delete heat, because we're going to pump it into the rocket once we've heated it up. And then the oil heating is so that we can cool this rocket tube. And I think the challenge is going to be if we want to take an indoor rocket tube, we're going to need a lot of cooling to make sure that the exhaust doesn't get too hot. And pulling that off is going to be a little bit of a trick. So that's what I want to work on, I think, in this episode, as soon as we've kind of wrapped up these things here. So let's go ahead and unpause. And I'm going to go ahead and say that you can disable any of these buildings. I don't really care about ranching the Drecos at this point. I would need to set up some stuff to. I don't have permissions given. Perfect. I would need to set up some stuff to make all that work. Mainly, I would need Atmos suits. Oh, and speaking of Atmos suits, I think I'm going to want some more Atmos suits. So let's go ahead and rearrange a little bit of stuff down here. Yeah, deconstruct, deconstruct, deconstruct. Get the stuff out of here, and we'll put down a, yeah. We can go ahead and replant those wort seeds somewhere. Anywhere I have a pot is fine, just so I have them producing some cool for the base. Man, where am I? Okay, they'll plant one here, which apparently hasn't been planted already. And we'll plant another one up here. Alright, looks good. Deconstruct this. Power. Smart battery. Iron's fine. Slap this down here, and then we will say stations. Exosuit forge. Slap this bad boy down here. Improve the priority on these a little bit. I have a couple of refrigerators here. I could wire them up. They are wired up. Store cooking ingredients in these. Why not? With priority 6. What priority do I have these at? 7? 7. That's fine. Okay. Get ourselves some exosuit forges. Or get ourselves an exosuit forge to start producing some more atmosuits. There we go. And then we can set up a little bit more stuff downstairs. While I'm at it, let's actually go ahead, and we also want to extend our cooling system that we have over here. Yeah, we want to extend this cooling system a little bit. So we're going to say base, not base, plumbing, liquid pipe, igneous rock is fine. I want to, yeah, I want to run another line up through here, connected in through here. Then we are going to deconstruct this. Plumbing, liquid pipe, igneous rock. Deconstruct this liquid bridge and this liquid pipe. Yeah, and we will have another line going over here, which will then ultimately be connecting up with this system here and pumping down. Right, so we're going to make this connection. We're going to break this. Go ahead and deconstruct this. And let's go ahead and get a mop order for anything that's down here at the moment. Like so. This too, I guess. Yeah, okay. And extend our cooling system to this part right here. And we can extend it out even further over to here once we're done with that. I basically just want to get the thermal load on this system higher. Because right now we're still just kind of... I mean, we are pumping some out, but I don't really want to pump things out at 40 if possible. I'd rather let it go a little bit higher. All right, utilizing all our cooling that we have available to us. Atmosuits. Just go ahead and give me a dozen atmosuits, please. Yeah. All right. Cool. We've opened up here. That's fine. Let's go ahead and mop up any and all of this. And then we will also say plumbing, liquid pump. Let's make this one out of steel just in case. Power, wire. This needs to also hook up. And then plumbing, insulated liquid pipe. We'll just have a line coming out, and then we'll build our a ceramic wall right here. New printables available. What do we got? Blossom seeds. Ooh, guy with diver's lungs. All right. Welcome to the team, Otto. Looking good. While we're at it, let's also dig out over here. Probably get another rocket launch with Stinky. Yeah, I loaded him up. Let's get this dug out, and we'll get another steam rocket launch. We can draw this back. We'll need to break into here, but I want to clean this stuff up first. In fact, maybe we just, after we break into here, we just deconstruct all this nonsense that we have in here. Hasn't been important to us. Okay. We're coming along over here. Let's go ahead and say that I want to open this. We'll still not allow duplicates in here. I just want to mop up the excess. Alright. They are making some atmosuits. We have this stuff being planted and harvested. Looking good. Running. Okay, cool. So, how is our coolant loop going here? Alright. Let's go ahead and say plumbing. Liquid pipe. Igneous rock is still fine. Whoops. What is going on? Plumbing. Liquid pipe. Igneous rock. Hook this up here. Hook this up here. Hook this up here. And that should extend out our whole system here. And we'll say priority 8 on any of that stuff that we just set up. Alright, and that should get, because this stuff is around 49.3. Yeah, that'll get some more hot water going down there to our system. Okay, so let's go ahead and I guess this needs a little bit more time to. Let's tell them to mop up here first. Gotta get rid of this excess, and then we can have our airlock all done. And then once we have this filled with chlorine, we're just gonna close this area off. Are we ready to launch Stinky? Nope, not even close. A little bit more to go on that. I also need to fill this up with steam, so I'll need to break into here anyways. Yeah, let them repair that stuff as well. Temperature in there should be fine. It's kind of reaching equilibrium. Okay. How much do I have in here? Sweet wheat grains, pinch pepper nut, sweet wheat grains. I think we're going to cook up some pepper bread as well. 20 pepper bread. Let's also go to consumables and maybe rearrange this a little bit. So if I sort by morale, we're going to say that people with low morale needs should not be eating the highest end stuff. In fact, we're going to say don't even eat the next highest tier of stuff. You're going to stick to a diet of that. Muck roots can be eaten by anybody, that's fine. And then we don't have Stinky here, do we? Everybody else is at 20. That's fine. Yeah, everybody can eat fried mushroom. That's fine. I just want to save our best stuff for our best people. Okay. How are we doing right here temperature-wise? Still 40 degrees. That's fine. Okay. Getting a little bit of scalding in here. Yeah, I can live with that. We've constructed all this stuff. Let's go ahead and ceramic this up. Priority 8 on this. And we can cancel these mop orders. They're not really necessary. One second. Okay. So yeah, next step is going to be cracking into here after we've sealed this up. We can go ahead and deconstruct all this. We'll have the Atmo suits to help with that. Job mastery is something I've also missed. Oh, auto. Yeah, research assistant. Why not? And other people. Apparently these are just old messages. Sure. Yeah, Ada, mastering plumbing job, fine. Okay, cool. Dig out this, get Stinky ready to go. We'll launch one more steam rocket, and then I think we'll shut down this this pipe that we have over here. And then we'll start retrofitting our rocket tube. Okay. This is still a little bit more water than we want. Set this to auto, and then we can mop up this and try again. Why are you in here? Okay, deconstruct, deconstruct, priority 9, priority 9. You were trying to repair something, weren't you, Joshua? Okay. Move out of here. Move out of here. Let's say priority 2, any of this stuff for now. I don't need it done. And base, insulated tile, ceramic. Wall this back up. Priority 9. And we can still use you guys to do it. I know, Ruby. It's hot. That's fine. Get it sealed up. Pipe blocked. I see. We have our steam going back in now. That's fine. Sure. Okay, let's go ahead and deconstruct. Deconstruct now that this is up and going. And get ready to pump more steam into here. Alright. So, what else was I looking to do? Atmo suits getting built. How is our cooling loop going? Okay, cool. So this is now... Alright, so now all this water from here is starting to flow out. So this is at 9.3 degrees, 27.2, 42.5. So all this hot water is now flowing out and being replaced with cold water, relatively cold water. Comes out here, it's around 60 degrees. And then all that hot water will be flowing down to here, right? Where it will eventually make its way into our system over here. And then these will start running and we'll basically have just cooled off another area of the base, more or less for free. We'll tweak up that temperature, that output temperature, once we're kind of good on this stuff. Let's go ahead and mop up this. We can also go ahead and deconstruct this and dig out this. Almost full up on chlorine here. Have a little bit more to go. We've wrangled a pretty good number of Drecos in here, and we're just letting them eat as they please. This is opened up, and I think as soon as this thing is full, we're just going to say go ahead and deconstruct all of this stuff. So one of the next things we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take some radiant liquid pipe and basically run it all the way around through this setup that we have here, and then we're going to hook that up to our heating room for the oil. Is the plan. We have CO2 flowing into here, so we're getting more steam through here. This steam is... This pipe is broken, basically. Alright. I think we're ready to just go ahead and give a deconstruct order We can say deconstruct all gas pipes. Let's check out what that would look like. Let's go ahead and deconstruct all gas pipes leading up into here. Buildings, sure. Go ahead and deconstruct all of that. And then I think we're set. I'll keep these tiles here just so our duplicates have places to stand. Oh, we do not want to... Okay, insulated tiles still staying around. I think we got everything we wanted. And then we're also going to want to punch through here. Let out the steam. Alright, looking good. Yeah, scalding. Every time they exit here, they get this minor burn. It still isn't quite clear with me why. So let's go ahead and allow access. And they'll bring in the remainder of the Drecos into here, because these are at max. We put them at 4. Banny scalded. In fact, let's go ahead and say vitals. Anybody seriously damaged? Banny, Ada, Ruby, Joshua. Alright. Ada, Banny, Joshua, and Ruby. Go ahead and get yourselves fixed up. Okay. I think I'm going to cut the episode here. We're out of slime, so we have to worry about that a little bit, but making good progress. We also want to filter this air at some point, but also one of the next things we're going to work on now that we have the Atmos suits, actually, is we are going to create for ourselves a sort of a proper entry system into the oil biome. Right now we're relying off of just these two. I want to set up a larger thing where we can put a lot more people through to work on stuff. That way we can do some more major work there, because one of the things we're ultimately going to need to do is if, you know, we're having an oil heating, petroleum heating thing over here, we're going to ultimately need to pump up some oil to get all that supplied. And that is probably going to take a whole new fresh line, basically running from here on up. Yeah. All right, look at that coolant flow, though. It's so good. Temperature-wise, we still have a little bit of a hot spot here where we have the hot water coming in. But now, this is an insulated liquid pipe by accident, whoops. But now, if I look at input, how much more do we have here? Okay, so it's going to be a little while, actually, of this system running before we've gone through all of the old coolant, or replaced all the old coolant with fresh cold coolant. And down here, yeah, gonna be a little while before the hotter stuff hits because it's got all this fresh coolant to work through. Okay, cutting the episode here, and I'll catch you guys next time when we... Actually, can I launch the rocket? Do we have enough steam in here? No. Okay. I'm just gonna cut the episode here, and when I come back, we'll work on retrofitting this silo to be a petroleum rocket. One more last flight for Stinky. Oh, wow. One last flight for Stinky. There's no one trapped up here, is there? That would be bad. And then when he comes back, we're going to start changing his rocket around to be something different. Okay, cutting through here. Catch you guys next time.